So, it's finally here. The Kamen Rider Zero-One comic released by Stonebot Comics and Titan Comics. Now, this is really cool to see a Kamen Rider comic. Not only that, a Kamen Rider Zero-One comic, because I have a soft spot for Kamen Rider Zero-One because it is the first Rider series I started watching weekly a couple of weeks after it began, and then I was hooked. And to see a Kamen Rider Zero-One comic out there does have my attention. So, this comic is written by Brandon Easton and Henry Prestia. I do apologize if I butchered your name, but if you read the first run of the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger comics done by Boom Studios, Henry was one of the artists who worked on the comic. And the art for this comic is really freaking amazing. It's really great. I love it. The attention of detail, the character designs, they nail it in this book. But not only that, the writing is pretty solid as well. And I feel like for a first issue, this makes a really good, strong first impression. I'm not going to do a recap and sort of do a page-by-page, play-by-play, because the first half of this comic is sort of introducing the audience to Kamen Rider Zero-One, because this is going to go on comic book shelves, and if people walk into a comic book store and they see Kamen Rider because they're reminded of Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, then they've got to introduce the new audience to Kamen Rider and the world of Kamen Rider Zero-One. And I feel like this book does an excellent job at doing it, because it starts off with Aruto being detained by Ames, and they sort of recap who he is, what he does, and the whole world around Kamen Rider Zero-One with the humor gears. And not only that, you're introduced to characters like Valkyrie and Vulcan and stuff like that, so they're introduced as well. But after that, after we're introduced to Aruto and the gang in this issue, we then meet the big bad of this comic, which is Ragnarok. And I gotta say, Ragnarok's design looks freaking amazing. Not only that, they're also a huge mystery because no one knows who this guy is. He just wants to destroy riders, so he's gonna be probably the big bad of this comic. But going back to this comic introducing its new audience to Rider and the world of Zero-One, I feel like this comic doesn't overdo it in my opinion, because it's not set in between any big arc or any story that was ongoing on the show. It's basically telling its own original story from what I've seen so far with the characters they've introduced, because you do see Hirobi in this issue, so it's before the whole Jin and Hirobi stuff, so you can see that going on in the issue. Not only that, you've also got, when you open up the comic, you've got a character bio of Aruto, Fua, Yua, Izu, and Ragnarok. So it shows up that it sets up the characters right away for this book, and no doubt about it, when other characters come into play, we'll probably have character bios for them as well. So it's very gentle introducing newcomers to this book and to this series of the world of Kamen Rider Zero-One, and I think it does an excellent job at doing that. So if you've never seen Kamen Rider Zero-One, then it's safe to jump into this comic, because you're not getting spoiled on anything, and it's going to introduce you to the show. And if you do want to check out Kamen Rider Zero-One, it is streaming on Tubi, Shout Factory. You can buy the DVD sets. I think you can buy the episodes individually on Amazon. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But Kamen Rider Zero-One is out there for streaming, and you can buy the Blu-ray set. So if you want to support it officially, you can. And I feel like Kamen Rider Zero-One was the safe bet they chose to adapt into a comic, because they could have done Ryuki, which is streaming on Shout. They could have done the original Kamen Rider or Kuga. They could have chose those ones, but Kamen Rider Zero-One is more of the more recent ones, so it makes sense to have eyes on this one. But I enjoyed reading this comic. I thought this comic was a good read through. I enjoyed the artwork. The artwork was amazing. The story, I'm interested to see where it's going to go, because, like I said, this doesn't really tie into the main plot of the show. It's its own little side story, and I want to see what the hell is up with Ragnarok and how that's going to affect the story moving forward with him being the big bad. And I do wonder if other Zero-One characters will show up later down the line. Will we see Jin? Will we see... Well, I don't want to spoil it. Will we see Bowser? I will say Bowser. If you're watching this video, you've seen Kamen Rider Zero-One. So, will Bowser show up in this comic? We don't know. But either way, I thought this comic was a lot of fun to read, and it definitely has my attention. And if this video does well, this review does well, then maybe see issue 2 review coming up next month. We'll see about it. It's going to be a busy month for comics on the channel for me. So, with that said, I think I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, take care, bye.
Thank you.